You are now listening to Wrestling Big Nation. Everyone, this is your boy Kev. I'm here with a WWE Crown Jewel recap, which of course took place earlier today. And yeah, it was a pretty long show, so I'm going to go ahead and start this off. So first off, we had a kickoff panel with David Otunga, Booker T, Jonathan Coachman, pretty much just going back and forth with the matches that are that were going to be happening later on in the day. And then we also saw a pre-match, which was on the pre-show, which was for the U.S. Championship. That was with Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev, which when the match happened, the arena still wasn't filled. There was still a lot of fans filing in. But when Rusev came out, there was a lot of Rusev Day chants. So, he was definitely a fan favorite out there. It was an okay match. I wouldn't say it's anything too special. It was very interesting at the end when basically Shinsuke Nakamura came up. He was basically he basically got out of Rusev's finisher by headbutting Rusev between the legs. And for some reason, the ref didn't count that as disqualification. So Nakamura ended up hitting Rusev with a Kinshasa to win and retain the U.S. Championship. So, unfortunately, Rusev was not successful using the accolade. And yeah, so that's what happened with that match. One thing I want to bring up too, of course, as everyone knows, commentary, you had Graves, you had Michael Cole, and the surprise, Renee Young. Which Renee Young was in an all-black turtleneck, which, of course, we all know with the Saudi Arabian culture out there that women really can't show much. So she was, of course, dressed in that manner because of the culture that's out there in the Middle East. So she was out there doing her thing along with Corey Graves and Michael Cole. And then at the start of Crown Jewel, Hulk Hogan comes out. So finally, we've seen Hulk after many months, even a couple years of rumors of him coming back, returning to the WWE. He finally made his return, which I was. It was funny. I was a little cringing a little bit because I was afraid that he might say something wrong. But no, everything he said was fine. Basically, he just said he was happy to be there with Hulkamaniacs, and here's the key. And I know throughout the whole night, no one mentioned that they were in Saudi Arabia. They just kept saying here at Crown Jewel, which I understand that was a way not to upset already the upset fans that were not happy about the event happening in Saudi Arabia. So basically, Hulk Hogan did his thing. He flexed. He said, "What you gonna do when Hulkamania and Crown Jewel runs wild on you?" He did his usual shtick. And then he got fireworks, which that was actually the theme for the night. Everyone, it didn't matter who it was, got fireworks. It was insane. So fans loved Hulk Hogan. I mean, they got excited for him when he came out and they cheered him. And that's pretty much it. I mean, you didn't really see him the rest of the night. Now, the first round of the World Cup, which is what actually started the first match for the night, was Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton. And basically in the middle of the match, Randy tried to remove the mask from Rey Mysterio. And it was, a little back and forth. Rey Mysterio tried to hit 619. Randy Orton caught him, got him into his Hangman DDT. And then Orton tried to RKO. And Rey Mysterio outsmarted him, did a roll-up, and then he won. Then, of course, Orton, post-match, he was very upset that he lost. And he attacked Rey Mysterio, hit him with an RKO. So Rey Mysterio walked out, quote-unquote, hurt from the attack. Which, of course, the announcer is saying, is this going to affect how he's going to perform in the next match? So the next match for the World Cup ended up being The Miz versus Jeff Hardy. And The Miz tried cheating in the middle of the match. He put his feet on the rope when he was pinning Jeff Hardy. And Miz, as always, he always sneaks in that skull-crushing finale, and he ended up winning the semifinal round for the World Cup. So he won that match. Then afterwards, we saw Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley, of course, with Lio Rush accompanied with him. And Lio Rush doing his usual shtick, saying, Lashley, 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 getting under the skin of all the fans there, and of course on TV as well. And Lashley pretty dominated a lot of the match, but Seth at the end, he was triumph, and he hit him with the curb stomp. And that made, of course, Seth Rollins qualify for the next match. And then we saw Angle versus Ziggler, which I expect a little more from. But I understand, Kurt Angle hasn't been wrestling for that. He hasn't wrestled in a long time. So that match ended, of course, with Ziggler winning, which was kind of no surprise. I know, Kurt Angle was, there pretty much doing the honors for Ziggler. So he won that match. Then we saw the New Day versus The Bar, accompanied with The Big Show. And New Day, of course, always trying to do something new and innovating as far as their entrance. They came out in a flying carpet and throwing pancakes into the crowd. So that's how they came out. And then we saw, the match start off with Big E and Sheamus. Then Kofi and Cesaro. And then we saw Kofi doing a lot of impressive high-flying moves like he usually does. Like the guy's a beast when it comes to his high-flying and his agility. That man, he can fly. He definitely can fly. And then Big E came in with the hot tag. And then at the end, the Bar was actually triumphant because the ref was actually trying to duck out of the way from being squished basically in the corner. And what happened was that Big Show, he took the opportunity to knock out Big E with his big fist, of course. So then that's when the Bar came in. Basically, Sheamus, I should say, came in with the bro kick. And that was it. 1, 2, 3. So they retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Now, moving on, we saw the semifinal match for the World Cup, and this was Miz versus Rey Mysterio. We saw Miz actually prior to this, right before he did an interview. For some reason, his voice was kind of raspy. I don't know what happened, if that had to do anything with during the match, he got hit in the throat or what. But his voice was noticeably raspy. So, he was, of course, saying again he's the best in the world and that he's going to beat Rey Mysterio. And that's exactly what happened. He beat Rey Mysterio in this match, which was, again, kind of underwhelming match, which I don't know because of time or what exactly happened, but it was pretty quick. He basically, pinned Rey Mysterio, and that was it. Then we got Seth versus Dolph Ziggler. That was the next match. And Seth, basically was trash talking Drew outside the ring, told him, come on and hit me. I dare you. You're gonna make Dolph get disqualified. Then Ziggler hit Seth with the zigzag, and Seth kicked out. So, there was more back and forth going on. Then, of course, we saw Ziggler win at the end, and he was triumphant for the next final match for the World Cup. Now, the next match that came was a WWE Championship match. It was AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. This was a pretty good match. I think this was one of the best matches on there. And of course, AJ won. He retained the title, which I'm very glad. I'm very happy to see how they've been treating AJ in WWE, and how he's been having a very respectable WWE title run. Being able to hold the title for so long. And I hope it continues. I want to see him, very much hold that title for very long, because I was always a big fan of AJ Styles. even before he was in WWE, and that was always one thing I wanted to see was him be in WWE and be able to be heavyweight champion and be successful, and that's exactly what he's been doing. So I'm very happy to see that. So then now, Baron Corbin comes out, and this is, of course, to crown the new Universal Champion, which was Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman. So, beginning the match, pretty much before the match can even start, Baron Corbin raising up the Universal title, just showing the fans that that's the title, of course, that's up for grabs. And he hits Braun Strowman with the belt, which pretty much makes the match one-sided. And Brock Lesnar, he hit, Braun Strowman with 5 F5s, pretty much, to be the new Universal Champion, which I know a lot of people weren't happy about. One thing I will say, though, which we all know he's going to be fighting in UFC, which I think would be awesome to see Brock Lesnar be the only Universal/UFC champion at the same time. I think that would be a cool thing. It's never happened before. I think it would be great publicity for WWE. Kind of like cross-branding for both promotions, too. It's good publicity for UFC. I think it'll be a cool thing, I wouldn't mind seeing that. So after that match, here comes the final match, which was, before that, of course, Shane McMahon comes out to represent for SmackDown. So he comes out. Here comes Miz to fight Dolph Ziggler. This is for the finals for the World Cup. So it's basically SmackDown versus Raw. You got Miz representing SmackDown. You got Dolph Ziggler representing Raw. And then you see, of course, Baron Corbin, general manager of Raw, talking trash to general manager of SmackDown, Shane McMahon. They're just talking trash back to each other of who's going to win the World Cup. Now, keep in mind, Shane McMahon said on SmackDown earlier in the week that if SmackDown lost, whoever was the person that lost in the semifinals, or I think even in general, from the World Cup tournament, was going to be fired. So, it was a lot at stake for The Miz. So, they start the match. They start fighting. Miz goes outside. Apparently, I don't know if he landed wrong on his ankle, but Miz is hurt. He's screaming in pain. He's like, "Ow, ouch, I'm in pain." And the referee comes out and says, "Miz, you want to continue?" He's like, "Yeah, I want to continue," but the Miz can't even stand up. So the referee goes to throw out the match and reward Dolph Ziggler the match, basically, to win the Best in the World trophy. Now, Shane McMahon said, no, the match must continue. This is the finals of the World Cup. Then Shane McMahon, this was so out of the blue, didn't expect that. He said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and represent SmackDown. Shane McMahon jumps in the ring, takes off his shirt, and he actually is the one that starts the match, fighting in the match for SmackDown. And I gotta say, Shane McMahon looked great out there as far as physique. I've never seen him basically fit before. He looked kind of almost like Vince McMahon physique. He was looking great. I could tell he's definitely been working out, taking care of himself. Beginning, we got his jabs that he usually does, his infamous jabs in the corner, and with an upset victory, with this very surprising ending, we see Shane McMahon actually hit the coast to coast from the top rope into Dolph Ziggler to pin and win the Best in the World Cup. Now, I was looking online. I know a lot of people were not upset. I was shocked. I didn't even know what to think at first. However, I think there's something behind this. I think this is to set up something with Survivor Series. Now, this is just my opinion, of course. It may not even amount to anything. I don't know. But for some reason, I have a feeling, since Survivor Series is SmackDown versus Raw, this is going to somehow relate to it, or it's planting a seed to something. Um, and it looks like Shane McMahon might be turning heel. So maybe again, or pretty much maybe this year, SmackDown is going to be the heels, and Raw is going to be the faces for the Survivor Series for a Survivor Series match. So that might be in the pipeline for Survivor Series in a few weeks. But I definitely think there might be something behind it. So that's why that happened. And then, of course, we get the main event. Brothers of Destruction, Undertaker and Kane versus D-Generation X, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Now, Shawn Michaels, it was very different to see him with a shaved head. I think even he's not used to it. You could tell when he was coming out to the ring, took him a while to take off the cowboy hat. Understandable. Hey, I have a bald head too. I know how it is. I used to have long hair, and yeah, I hated that I had to shave my head too. So, Shawn Michaels, I feel you. I feel you there. I want to say too that Shawn Michaels, it's been 8.5 years since he had a match. And I want to say it was almost like he never left. I mean, I was very impressed with the way he was moving in the ring. He's still doing all his moves, his flying elbow. I mean, with precision, just like he did 8-10 years ago when he was an active member on the WWE roster. He was moving fine in there. He still got it. I will say that. This match was actually good. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I liked it. I know there was parts that were slow pace, but I think it did what it needed to do. There was a few spots, of course, outside and to the table. Triple H got chokeslam onto the announce table. One thing I thought that was funny was Shawn Michaels on the top of the rope and Kane on the top of the rope, and Shawn Michaels just punching Kane right in the face. Punch him. And Kane's mask comes off mid-match with hair and all. It was just so funny to me. I don't know why. It was just so funny. And it was to the point where Kane rolled out of the ring and the cameras just completely came off of Kane for a while. And then it was maybe I would say 5 minutes into the match, or maybe up to 10 minutes. Then you finally saw Kane, and he slipped the mask back on. So I thought that was a little funny, a little funny botch that happened in the match. Then you had, of course, the win, D-Generation X. You had both Brothers Destruction in the middle of tombstoning both Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and while Shawn Michaels was next to Kane, being held by The Undertaker, he went and poked Kane's eye, which freed Triple H, who then, of course, attacked Kane, freed Shawn Michaels, who then super kicked Kane, and then hit Kane with a pedigree to win the match. So that was the end. I will say, not the best pay-per-view for the year. I mean, there was, of course, highlights. I did like the AJ Samoa Joe match. I did like the D-Generation X versus Brothers Destruction. Some of the matches were okay, nothing out of the ordinary. More so matches you would see maybe on Raw or SmackDown. But I mean that's what I feel. I would say it was a good show, but it wasn't the greatest. We've definitely seen better shows before in the past, and everyone has different opinions. I've seen a lot of people bashing the show that they didn't like anything from top to bottom. But I'd say there was some good there, definitely. So I won't say it was a complete failure of a show, but there definitely could have been an improvement on there. But yeah, like I said, highlights again, Brothers of Destruction DX. Apparently, Shawn Michaels did a post interview, and he said that this is probably his last match, his one and only match. He was pretty much reminded tonight that that's why he hasn't been wrestling for 8.5 years. And again, I think he did an amazing job. I mean, for a guy to be, I think in his 50s, if I'm not mistaken, early 50s. I mean, wrestling's not easy. It's not easy at all. So for him to move the way he did, and to still be how he basically was during his time as a full-time performer, it's amazing. It definitely is amazing, especially you've been gone for 8.5 years. I mean, that's insane. So I was very impressed. I wish, we would see more Shawn Michaels matches in the future, because I would love to see Shawn Michaels and AJ Styles, or even Shawn Michaels versus Seth Rollins. I think that those would be some pretty cool matches to see in the future. But who knows? Never say never. Maybe Shawn Michaels changes his mind and WrestleMania comes around, and we do see AJ versus Shawn Michaels. You never know. Hopefully we do see that. Other thing I want to bring up, as you guys probably saw on my Instagram, I actually just came back from NXT that took place tonight, which was a great show. I really enjoyed seeing it. There's actually a debut of Punishment Martinez. He made his debut tonight, which is pretty cool to see. It was a great show. Love NXT too, man. I mean, NXT is doing their thing. And yeah, you'll see on my Instagram, which again, it's wrestling_fig_nation. Took a picture with EC3, Danny Burch, as well as Oni Lorcan, which was pretty cool. It was pretty cool meeting them, all three of them. But I had a good time. So today was, pretty cool day. All day wrestling pretty much. Crown Jewel early in the afternoon, NXT at night. What more can you ask for? So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. That's my take on Crown Jewel. I know everyone's going to have their own opinion. Again, this is just my opinion, and I respect your opinion. Respect my opinion. So that's that. So I'm going to call it a night. It's getting late. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.